Flying used to be about getting somewhere. Now it's about finding out what tax bracket you're in. Also, remember when we had criminals? We don't have those anymore. Nope. We got people committing crimes that I gotta Google afterward. If you can, hit like, subscribe, share, comment. I really would appreciate it. Thank you so much. In the meantime, I want to talk about the airlines. Because the airlines said, what if flying didn't suck? And then immediately said, oh, cool, but only for rich people. So if you saw this, Delta rolled out a brand new luxury suite. Now, I love the way they dropped it like they just cured something. Like, today we've cured polio and we also have new luxury suites available on Delta flights. Well, if you didn't see all the miraculous changes, for starters, they made the bed 3 inches longer. Yeah, 3 inches, which is not really an upgrade. It's more of a negotiation. Tall people squeaked enough. The wheel needed to get greased. Listen, here's what we're going to do. We're going to meet you halfway. We're going to add like 3 inches. How's that feel? And they're done. They went on to say that they tested this thing for hours. Hours. And that's how you know it ain't for us. Ain't nobody ever tested the middle seat for hours? Shoot. They tested one for like 30 seconds at the factory and said, yep, still sucks. Ship it. That's how it went. Now, here's where it gets good. They said the design helps side sleepers. Wasn't that nice? That's where we are in life now. We've solved all the problems. We're now trying to work on the diagnosing of sleep positions at the airlines. Yeah, you get on the airplane, they're like, hi, are you a side sleeper or a back sleeper or someone who cries at 35,000 feet? It's a great question. Meanwhile, in coach, you ever try to sleep in coach? That ain't sleep. It's the hostage negotiation with snacks. If you're lucky, if it's long enough flight. Neck all at an angle, trying to lay on the window, or you get one of those neck pillows, you know, the inflatable ones. I liked mine, but it leaves just enough gap here and moves just enough till you're like half hung out or the other way, and then you drool. You don't mean to, but it's all down your shirt. Now when you get wherever you go, you wake up and you're like, and then you realize you're in a puddle of your own. You're like, that's a mess. Welcome to Atlanta. Man, all my stuff's in a suitcase, and I'm here to see my girlfriend's family for the first time. What a trip. Sleeping on a plane, no good. No matter how you do it, got your neck all at an angle that ain't even in the Bible. You got at least one arm numb, and you're probably working on tingling toes. Then you wake up, like I said, and you're like, what kind of fight did I lose? I feel awful. Up front, it's completely different. Oh yeah, their seats have doors and beds. It's not a flight anymore. You're renting a studio apartment at altitude. How fun. I'm expecting a landlord to come knocking. Hey, just want to check on you. Want to know if you're planning on renewing at cruising altitude, or where were we? They even have a do not disturb button on the door. My house don't have that. Nothing like anybody gonna respect it, no way. Imagine pressing a button, people just leave you alone. That's not a flight feature, that's a life upgrade. Here's the part that nobody's saying out loud. Delta said premium seats are making more money than regular tickets. What? Oh, so that's the game we're in. We're not really about improving flying. We're more about improving escape flying, right? Because coach ain't getting no better. Not where I sit. No, coach is the control group. They need you uncomfortable so the rich folks can feel like they made the right decision. That's the whole business model now. You could sit back there, or for just $4,000 more, you could feel like a human being again. But let's not get confused. At the end of this, Delta didn't fix flying. They just created levels of suffering. My name is Bud Ford. Hope you're having a great day. Thank you so much. Over the last couple of days, we've had some pretty cool stuff here happen. It took a while. I've been working on a lot of things, video-wise and everything else, as you may have known if you've been on the ride for a minute. But we're on all these things. We finally got everything rolling like we wanted to and consistent. So what's happening is we finally hit 500 downloads on Spotify, which was cool. And now, that was just late last week, and now we're at almost 700. So thank you so much. Thanks for spending the time. If you're on YouTube, Facebook, wherever you are, if you're catching this on Spotify or if you're catching it on Apple, wherever you have it, thank you so much for spending the time with us today. We have people out here stealing airplanes. Meanwhile, me at the self-checkout, when the lady walks by, I'm all like I'm some kind of criminal. Nobody's running out of the store with TVs like back in the day. Now it's like, yeah, we got hit last night. Took 60 containers of bull semen. That's a real thing. I'm making that up. 60 containers. Right, I have no idea what the street value of that is. But I do know it's not something you explain casually to your wife. Hey, honey, how was your day? Oh, it was a long one. Traffic was bad. How about you? Oh, honey, I had a good day. I got 60 containers of bull semen in the trunk. How you have that conversation? I don't know how much you know about bull semen, but you just can't keep it anywhere. It has to be stored at negative 196 degrees, which means this was not a crime of passion. This man had a plan. You don't accidentally steal something that requires an entire science lab to keep alive. That's not Ocean 11. That's Ocean's agricultural department. Somebody stole 7,000 live bugs from a museum. 7,000. For what? It's not a robbery. It's a curse, man. They took cockroaches, tarantulas, geckos. Now they're all like, well, it could have been employees. Of course it was. Ain't no random dude walking off the street thinking, you know what? You know what I don't have today? 1,000 spiders. And they left their uniforms hanging on knives like a warning. It's not theft. It's a message. Probably gonna need to pull that out their last check. Cost 1,000 spiders, man. Yeah, no, they're not gonna make much this period. As somebody quitting their job in the most aggressive way possible. I don't need this job. I got 1 million bugs now. I'm out. These cats stole 15,000 x-rays from a hospital. 15,000. That's not a grab and go situation. That's a loading dock, got to get a truck situation. There's a lot to that. And the thought is they did it all for the silver inside the film, which I'm sure they then found out it costs more to extract than the silver's actually worth, but whatever. Which really makes it kind of the worst kind of crime. You risk jail, you still end up in debt. That's not a heist, just a bad investment. And probably ends in a divorce. Just me thinking out loud. Somebody stole a Boeing 727. Do you remember that? Not a part, not a tire, the entire plane. They just took off, no lights, no radio, nothing, just disappeared into the sky like a ghost with a boarding pass. Poof! Gone. Which I'm not really sure is stealing, it's more like just leaving Earth. At that point, you're not even a criminal anymore, you're a mystery. And the hell of it is nobody found it, no wreckage, no pieces, no nothing. Which means somewhere out there there's a full airplane that's completely unaccounted for. How do you hide that? Meanwhile, I can't leave the grocery store without a receipt check. They got away with a whole plane. I'm afraid to steal a Butterfinger. We're not wired the same. Well, I like to read those self-help articles. I don't know if you ever pay attention to that stuff, especially this time of year. You know, we're early in the year and whatnot. By the time we get to July or so, I'm not reading any more self-help. But I try to read the articles so you don't have to, and then I'll just give them to you real briefly here. Show you what you're missing. And I just found out I've been improving at things wrong for my entire life. It's a little thing called the intermediate plateau. I don't know if you know anything about this. I did not. It's a polite way of saying you're decent. That's as good as it's going to get. Kind of like when I played golf with this buddy of mine and I'd make a good shot and he would say something brilliant like, "That's good for you." And I'm going to tell you, just like I felt then when I read that, I felt attacked. Because I got a lot of things, a lot of skills, bowling, just other things. I got a lot of things that I do that are in that zone. Shooting pool. I mean, I'm good at those things. Not bad. You're not going to walk away going, "Yeah, man, they ought to name that guy after a city like Minnesota Fats and like Arizona Bud." I mean, not that. But I'm confidently average, which is about all sometimes you can hope for, right? Like table tennis. You ever play that? So I never played table tennis, but when I was a kid in high school, the table tennis high school championships were coming up for our senior year. And my buddy Mike was like, "We got to enter this." And I was like, "Why?" "I don't play table tennis." He said, "You don't play ping pong?" I said, "No, I don't play ping pong." He said, "I can teach you. In time for the tournament in a week?" He said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "I'm good. I'm really good. You just have to not be bad." I said, "Okay." We destroyed some folks. We won the tournament and proceeded to play against other people on vacation for drinks and such. We were pretty good. We were problems at the resorts, all I'm telling you. We were those kind of people. We were young. Undefeated, drinking on someone else's dime. You know how it is, though. I shoot a lot of pool here where I live, too. And I'm good till somebody else shows up with their own pool stick, and then I'm like, it's kind of a warning sign. Gotta be smart. Some people come in looking for cash. Once they bring their whole house full of equipment, too. And some people show up. I learned this in bowling, too. I was pretty good at bowling. I probably carry at times up to a 205 average. I'm probably more like 190 to 195. Somewhere along in there, you usually will find me, and I'll have a breakout season and get up at 205, 210 or something on occasion, but it's not going to last long. I've learned a lot in that, and that's part of why I read this article. I'm like, why can I not get any better at this sport? And the article says the reason that we plateau is because our brains just sort of go on autopilot. We learn just enough to be just good enough. And then we kind of live there for now, which is very interesting to me because I've said this to some friends of mine. I have a cousin that lives in Alaska, and this dude is a pool shark. Like, he's just good at it on a level that doesn't make sense to me. I'm really good at cutting angles. If you've ever played shot pool or whatever, I'm good at cutting angles. I'm really good at that. I'm pretty okay at shots. I'm not good at multiple banks. This dude sees multiple banks. Like, he's really, really good. And when I'm playing him, I might win one or two, maybe even three. And then I'll get beat for a lot, then I'll win a few more. I always say I'm streaky. I play to the level of my competitor. And I think that's part of what this article's saying. You get yourself up to a level, and then you're not really finding anyone to push you any harder, so you just kind of stay there. That's where I'm at. So at that point, you're not really playing. Your body's just sort of clocked in. I play around some people that do pickleball that way, too. They just kind of stand there, and their body knows what to do, but sometimes I'm not sure they're engaged because at that point, they're not getting any better, which, like I said, explains a lot about a lot. Been shooting basketball since like 1989. Jump shot still sucks. Same percentage. Still confident. I just kind of froze in time. And now I'm at that weird point where I can't pick normal hobbies because I can't play basketball anymore. Now you got stuff like competitive cornhole. I got my stance, my routine, my breathing pattern. I knew what I was doing. Still listen to a guy named Carl with a cigarette hanging off his lip, but whatever. I watched the videos. I was ready. Article says if you want to get better, here's what you have to do. You have to do deliberate practice, which basically means you got to make it hard again. You got to find your own weaknesses and work on those. Sounds fun. I don't want to find my weaknesses. I've spent years hiding them so no one else sees them. What do you mean I got to play people better than me on purpose? That's not practice. That's humiliation with a schedule. It's not how I roll. It's not about how much you practice. It's about how you practice. Try to play word games with me. Me calling it working on my game's not really improving. I'm just staying busy is what you're telling me. That's a tough realization now for the last 30 years. Thank you. So, thanks to me, you don't have to read the article now. You understand why you're not getting better at anything. And it's not because you don't have talent. It's because you found the comfortable spot and you stayed there. And you built a house, you settled with your family. It's all right. Same with me. I didn't hit a plateau. I signed a lease. I might go up. I don't know. Thanks again for your time. My name is Bud Ford at Bud Ford Comedy. Have a great day.